Salve família, Heavy Metal Online, Metal no Papel, mais uma parceria com JZ Press. E hoje a gente está batendo um papo com o cara, Wolf Hoffmann do Accept. Hey Wolf, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, my friend? Good to
I'm
speak
good.
with you.
I'm good, very excited.
So am I.
You've had a busy interview day today, right?
Yes, I've done a bunch of interviews. I'm almost practically every day I'm doing interviews around the world for this brand, for this
Really?
new album. Yeah. I'm been
Was it
very
today
busy.
only? Was it today like Brazilians only, or like
Yes,
many nationalities?
today was Brazil Day. So
Okay,
spreading the
perfect.
news. Spreading the news.
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it. So my first question to you is, uh, during the first few gigs and album released, it was surely impossible to have an idea of what will become of Accept. But at this moment, looking back at what you've built, it is safe to say you influenced a whole metal genre. Many songs were written based on your own work. Do you realize how important is your legacy, and how does it feel to acknowledge that?
Yeah. Well, yes, I'm a bit aware of it. More now than in the past, to be honest, because I've meet people all the time that tell me how much of an influence Accept was for them, and that makes me very, very proud and very happy, of course, um, because that's a huge honor to be recognized by other musicians as an influence. So that's amazing, and nobody could have anticipated this all these years ago when we started. We were basically just a few teenagers with a dream in Germany, and here we are, almost 50 years later, and I'm still out there doing it. So that's an amazing feeling, and yeah, it doesn't feel like 50 years at all. It feels like a few years, but in my mind,
Yeah,
I'm still a teenager.
yeah. So I've heard you say in like other interviews that like you couldn't do a office work. You were just doing what you felt was like the right thing for you to do. You didn't care about what would happen. And even
Yeah.
there was a point you thought you and your parent thought you would be doing that after 30 years old, and now after 50 years.
Yeah, I actually still remember this conversation that I had with my parents. I'm
Oh,
trying to explain to them this is what I want to do, but they said, "Well, there's no future because it's only for young people." But
yeah, because there were no old metalheads back in the days,
no,
right?
you have to remember when I started playing guitar and came to my parents with the idea of being a professional musician, the Rolling Stones were not even 30.
Yeah.
But imagine that, or maybe
That's
they were
interesting.
30, but there was nobody past that age. Everybody said, "Well, you have to stop and get a real job one day." But
Yeah. But did you have like that clear in your mind that you would try to do something different, or you were just following your guts?
I was just playing day by day. I thought, okay, we're going to do this for a while and then we'll see what happens. But I didn't have any long-term plans, never. I just
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
oh, we'll do it another year and another year, but maybe one day it's going to come to an end. But we care about that later. Let's not worry about that. Now we're young and we have fun at what we do. And I always thought it will sort itself out. One day whatever life brings will be okay. But I never had this imagination that I could be doing this until I drop dead. That was just not that was unthinkable.
yeah.
But
And also,
now I think
go
I
on.
want to die on stage.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. So no retirement plans, right?
No, not for me, my man. Not for
That's
me.
good. That's good to hear.
You might have to carry me off stage one day, or you may, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah. That will probably happen. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. So talking about the reckoning, it sounds fresh and modern, but
Mhm.
with killer 80s vibe riffs. How do you manage to write powerful, no bullshit songs without falling into the trap of repeating yourself even after 17 studio albums released?
Yeah. I guess. I mean, that's a huge honor if you say that. Of course, that's what we're going for. But sometimes I'm not sure either. Sometimes we're sitting there and thinking to myself, is this really good enough, or is this really new enough, or is it? So I think you have to challenge yourself. You have to ask yourself, is this really something that excites me, and is this really going to excite anybody else? Is this really on target for what Accept fans would want to hear? And then, of course, I'm not alone in this. I have Andy Sneap here. I've got the other guys in the band, and somebody would probably call bullshit if it was a lame song. Somebody would say, "Hey, man, this is I don't like this. This is not no good." So, yeah, I guess if you like what you do, then you want to get better at what you do. That's as simple as that. I hate mediocrity, and if I have the feeling this is not good enough or this is really lame, then I'm going to work until I like it. So that I think you have to have a bit of a sensibility on what's how much to challenge yourself, I guess.
Do you ever throw away songs that
Oh
you
yeah,
feel it's not
all the time. I mean,
really?
I compare it to being, I was a photographer for a while, and I compare it to that. You cannot go out and say, today I'm going to take the greatest picture I've taken in a long time, but I'm only going to take one picture and that's it. It's not going to work. You have to take
Yeah.
a lot of pictures and you choose the one that you really feel strongly about. And it's the same with songwriting. It's impossible to just write one song and expect it to be a hit or a great song. It's no, you have to be willing to throw away a bunch of stuff that later turns out to be not so good, and that's normal, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. So you mentioned how
Oh,
support the band. So I would like to talk about that. Throughout its history, Accept had different lineups.
yeah.
Great musicians came, supported the band, but had to leave it. What
Well,
are the best practice to keep a
choose
team
to leave.
together? Huh?
Can I correct you? Nobody had to leave. They choose to leave. Most of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, go ahead.
So, but the question is, what are your best practice to keep a team together, and how do you know when it's time to just let it go?
Well, nobody is forced to be in Accept. We have everybody's a volunteer in this, and sometimes it turns out that somebody decides, I want to go a different direction, and then that's totally normal. It happens in every company, it happens in every sports team, it happens in every other aspect of life. But for some strange reason, there's this romantic idea that musicians have to stay together forever, and that's just not practical. And I mean, it's just not realistic because people, like I said, like for instance, I give you an example. Phil Schaus is a third guitar player in Accept. He joined us in 2019, and last year after the South American tour, he came to us and said, listen guys, I had food poisoning on this tour. I had to sit for hours and hours on these airplanes. I was in a hospital. This is just too much for me. This is too rough. I have an offer from another band here in Nashville, and I want to join this other band. So please, I want to leave the band. But we said, man, Phil, you're a great, amazing player. We don't want to let you go. We love you. We want to keep you. What can we do? And he said, well, maybe I can be the permanent special guest and Accept and still be part of most shows, but I cannot be in every show. And that's a perfect example of what happens sometimes. We'd love to keep him, but he has other plans and his life changed slightly. So now he's not going to be everywhere we play. And to complete that story, we now bring to South America Joel Hoekstra from Whitesnake with us on this run. So, but it's just a perfect example. If it was up to me, nobody would ever leave. We would just be all great friends and everybody would get along. And yeah, but that's not how life is sometimes. So I see it as my role as the only surviving oldest member of the band to just keep the ship afloat. Want to keep going to the best of my abilities, and that's what I do. It's my mission in life to keep Accept going to the best of my abilities, and I'm always looking for. I think we have a fantastic camaraderie in the band right now, but I cannot guarantee if maybe someday, a few years down the road, somebody will change their mind and want to do something else, and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. It is what it is, right? But I think the what I would like to know from you is like, how do you keep the sense of camaraderie? How, for example, when you take bus tour, you be like days and after days with the same guys, and things that tend to be a bit rough. How do you keep it together? I'm sure after 50 years of experience, you know how to keep a good uh, uh, um, maybe vibe within the band, and don't stress up too much about like minor things.
Right. Well, you said it right there. Don't stress the little stuff. And one thing we found that really works for us, we try to have personal space. For instance, during the day, we we try to everybody go to their room. Some guys just watching TV, the other guys is walking the city, but we try to not always hang together. And then, like an hour before the show, it's fresh. We're happy to see each other, and we're glad to make metal together. But if you hang together too much, that's when the problem starts. You can only take so much of each other. Because we're always together. We're at airports, on
Yeah,
flights, we share meals together. So it can be and after a while, you don't know what to say to each other because you've said it all already. you
oh
know,
yeah,
there's not so much new stuff that you can talk about. So sometimes it's just nice to go into your room and call the wife or call the family and just be in a different zone. That's healthy and that's good, and that's how we keep a healthy relationship in the band, or yeah, a climate of because too much is too much.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So the last one is, if you had to start a band from scratch right now, how different do
Yeah,
you think it would be? Do you think new bands nowadays have a better chance, or it's even harder to cut through the noise?
I don't know what it would be like. That's the simple answer. But I can tell you that it was never easy. Even in the 80s when we started, the idea to break out of Germany as a band, the band that we were, making the music that we were, given the way that we looked, different. I mean, there was no chance in hell we would ever go anywhere, to be honest. But yet we did it through persistence over the years and through a lot of luck. So today, bands have different tools. It's easier on some respect because it's easier to connect with the world and to yeah, with social media and stuff. You have more tools than we did back then. But at the same time, the competition is much harder. So
Yeah,
there's more bands out there. To be honest, I have no idea what it would be like to start a new band. I imagine it's about the same, just with different rules and tools.
yeah. People say on average, it's uploaded to Spotify like 100,000 songs per day. So
Woo!
it's,
Really?
yeah, it's very accessible. It's very affordable to record and release a song.
Right.
But on the other hand, like everyone's doing that, so
Yeah.
it's kind
You
that's kind of
you answered. Yeah, there you answered your own question. So yeah. Overall, I don't know what's better. To be honest, I have no
yeah,
idea.
it's tricky. There's no easy answer for that.
Not at all. I'm just glad I am where I am, and I don't have to start all over again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are glad that you did that as well. Helped us a
No,
lot, no
thank you, man.
doubt. Uh, I'll ask you. I finished my planned questions, but I'll make another one, very very personal one. I live in Dublin, Ireland, at the moment.
Oh, you do?
So
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have any plans to play here, like in short term?
Well, we always have plans. It's just a matter of where we are booked as a band. You know that it's.
Yeah.
Eh, I get this question a lot. Will you ever come to Australia? Will you ever come? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to right now, tomorrow. If you just book a show, you know the way that it works. Somebody sends us an offer for a show, and if the plans work out, we'll gladly play wherever on this planet. It's just we cannot decide to come to Dublin and just go into a pub and ask them, hey, can we play here?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it doesn't work like that.
It must make sense, like logistically, right?
Yeah. And there's certain rules in the business. You know, local
Hmm.
promoters put on the concert and they
Hmm.
book the band, and then contracts are made, and then we'll show up. But it's
Yeah.
not
Sure.
up to the band. It's just not up to
Yeah.
us to decide we want to play Dublin, and then here we are. It doesn't work
Yeah.
that way.
Absolutely. I'm sure if it was up to you, you'll be playing all around the world all the time.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
at the moment, there's no like dates for Dublin, right?
no, not that I'm aware of. I
Okay.
mean, we have a ton of dates this year, all the way into up to Christmas.
Yeah.
More shows than we've ever played in a long time. But I don't think there's
That's very good.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal but fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard you saying that maybe it could be different now, but it used to be harder to tour US instead of Europe, even though you live in US.
Um, well, it has shifted a bit. Yeah, it used to be the US was really a huge market for any metal band, and I remember days in the '80s, or like times in the '80s, when you could stay on the road for months at a time and just do the full loop several times, and the market was just endless. And now a lot of American bands are going to Europe because that's where the market is, or South America, as a matter of fact. You know, South
Yeah.
America and Europe seem to be. It has shifted somewhat. I'd still say there's a lot of fans in the U.S. and we are
Hmm.
going to make a U.S. tour this year. And but yeah, it is. It's a constant shift. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Uh, Thank you very much.
Man,
Do you wanna add anything?
just how grateful I am to still be able to do this,
Yeah.
and to come to South America. It's going to be fantastic. It always is. So I'm totally looking forward to that. You know, Brazilian fans are just crazy as fuck, and we love them.
Oh yeah, yeah. Do you feel like Latin crowd would they like behave differently in a show, or is it just a rumor?
No, they are way different. I mean, no doubt. I mean, going to South America is like a treat for us. Latin America in general, because I mean, it has to do with the whole lifestyle. That's how people are. They're very expressive. They're very passionate. Same as I would imagine in football or something. You know, people are just it's on a whole nother level. Their way to express themselves and to party and to get into it. I mean, I don't want to knock any other fans. We have very great fans wherever we go, but people are just more expressive in certain parts of the world. That's just in their blood, and that's for us as performers. The Latin American audiences are a dream. I have to say, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
Same here, my man.
Valeu, pessoal. Se divirtam aí. Até a próxima.
Yeah, whatever you said, beautiful. Love it.